This is KCBD News Channel 11 at 5.
Good afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Christy Harton. Right now we're seeing freezing temperatures this afternoon here on the South Plains, which could likely create dangerous driving conditions tonight and into tomorrow morning. Let's go to John. He's been watching all of this for us. That's the main concern. What we're really looking at now is what's going to happen to those roadways.
Yeah, and that's the issue right now. You know, Christy, they're kind of improved around Lubbock, much better than they were earlier this morning. But as we go into the evening hours, particularly after sunset and temperatures start edging down slowly to the low 20s later on tonight, that means that liquid area is going to refreeze. That creates black ice. Very difficult to see in the nighttime hours and the morning hours until sunrise. So that's why it's going to be very hazardous for most of the South Plains. Obviously, areas to the east, as you look at Doppler radar, still getting snow. So there'll definitely be snow on the roadways, anywhere from Lamesa, particularly Gale, to Snyder, Jayton, and Guthrie, Dickens County area. So it's going to be easier to see the ice and snow, but the same thing, slush will be refreezing as ice over the next few hours and overnight. Snow is moving out of the region though, and we'll see sunshine in some areas, maybe to Lubbock later on. We've got some blue skies right now, but we'll definitely see sunshine coming up tomorrow. Here's a look though at a time lapse. Steve caught this earlier this morning looking southwest at the interstate and at Avenue A, and you will see that snow rolling in. We started out with some snow on the ground, roads improved, snow rolls in, coats the streets, some areas from 1 to 2 inches here in the city. And then as we roll towards the noon hour and after, you'll see the roads start improving. And again, they're in fair shape around Lubbock. They're much worse shape to our east and southeast. But as you go into the evening hours, be aware of that ice potential. As far as our forecast for the evening, we'll show you how it's shaping up. Quick look at snow totals. 12-inch, the leader right now in Jayton community. Here in Lubbock, we had about 1.5 inches on the average. Freezing fog will be an issue where there's heavy snow on the ground this evening, overnight through tomorrow morning. Low visibility is there and icy roads, a bad combination for Lubbock. It's going to be just getting colder. We're going to see temperatures staying in the 20s now all the way down through 11 o'clock. I think we've been up to 31 so far, Christy, but we're going to fall back 20s pretty rapidly.
Still need to pay attention. Okay,
yes.
Thanks so much, John. Some good news today from LPD. They say they saw a decrease in the number of crashes that they typically respond to in a winter weather scenario. From the time the Emergency Operations Center was activated at noon yesterday up until 10:40 this morning, LPD reported 23 crashes, 4 of those with minor injuries and 9 hit and runs. That's compared to 60 to 80 crashes that they've seen in a similar time frame in the past. LPD credits that in part to you who took the time to slow down, listen to safety messages from law enforcement, including police who drove with their lights activated this morning to remind people to slow down.
And if you think maybe you were going to be able to sneak through a little bit faster than maybe you should, it makes it really evident that no, there are officers out, and we are watching the conditions, but we're also looking for those traffic violations.
Coming up tonight at 6, hear more from LPD about what led to the decrease in collisions last night and into this morning. Right now, we are seeing more delays and cancellations, though, for area schools. For tomorrow, Snyder ISD has already canceled classes, as well as Tahoka and Hermleigh, while Seagraves will be on a 1-hour delay. Slayton ISD will have a 10 a.m. start. Lubbock Christian School will also have a 10 a.m. start. South Plains College and the Texas Tech Health Sciences Center will start at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. You can track the latest on our dropping temperatures with our KCBD First Alert weather app. In addition to any delays or cancellations on that weather app, we do have an easy to follow hour-by-hour forecast, and you can access the radar. The app is free. You can find it in your app store. Turning now to national headlines, the impeachment trial of President Trump is over. The president was acquitted of 2 articles of impeachment, accusing him of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. The vote to keep the president in office coming almost entirely down to party lines, with one notable exception. Alice Barr is in Washington with this late-breaking detail. Alice.
Hello, Christy. The White House had hoped for a bipartisan acquittal. Instead, there were votes to convict from both parties, though not nearly enough to remove the president from office.
Senators, how say you?
One by one, 100 senators standing today to record their votes for history, whether President Donald J. Trump should be removed from office.
Mr. Alexander not guilty.
Though the president's acquittal has seemed inevitable from the beginning,
Donald John Trump be, and he is hereby, acquitted of the charges in said articles.
there was drama until the end. Republican Senator Mitt Romney declaring he would break the solid wall of support the White House had hoped to maintain.
Corrupting an election to keep oneself in office is perhaps the most abusive and destructive violation of one's oath of office that I can imagine.
Senator Romney calling this the hardest decision of his life.
My faith is at the heart of who I am.
Emotional as he spoke of his oath before God to do impartial justice. The move gives Democrats a bipartisan talking point, though it doesn't change the outcome. President Trump will remain in office with overwhelming support from his party.
This partisan impeachment will end today.
Potent disdain from Democrats.
This president just lies. Just lies.
The lack of unity starkly clear in last night's State of the Union that began with the president turning away from House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's proffered handshake and ended with the speaker tearing up his speech.
Last night did not give me the encouragement we need. We need to unite the country.
A country facing even more political divisions as the election year gets underway. Though the impeachment trial of President Trump is now over, the investigation into his actions may not be. Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler saying today the House may still subpoena former National Security Advisor John Bolton to testify. In Washington, Alice Barr, KCBD News Channel 11. Christy, back to you.
Thank you, Alice. Back here closer to home, new details today in the weekend death of an Abernathy woman. A 71-year-old man is now charged with murder in the case. Right now, Randy Lee Downs is in custody at the Lubbock County Detention Center. He's being held on a murder charge out of Hale County. Investigators say he killed his wife, Linda Downs. Her body was found Saturday afternoon inside a car outside of their Abernathy home. She had been shot in the head and was also stabbed in the back and neck. Police say Mr. Downs was found inside the home and was trying to set it on fire. He was taken to the hospital and treated for a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He's since been transferred to jail where he is being held on a $75,000 bond. No word yet on a motive. A Levelland couple is currently in police custody because of the death of a 2-year-old boy who was abused. KCBD News Channel 11's Melanie Camacho has more.
A Levelland couple is in jail after police say they beat a 2-year-old to death. Samantha Mathis and her boyfriend Robert Garza were arrested Tuesday after they brought the child to the emergency room. The couple was arrested after they were questioned by police. The child was taken from Levelland's emergency room to University Medical Center in Lubbock, where he later died from his injuries. Texas Department of Family and Protective Services interviewed the 2-year-old's brother, who is 4 years old, and say that he had also been beaten. The brother is currently in a Lubbock hospital being treated. Additional charges for the two are pending. Melanie Camacho, KCBD News Channel 11.
Fallout from the Iowa caucus chaos continues to unfold today. State Democratic Party officials still can't say who won Monday night, although for now, Pete Buttigieg is leading Sanders, Warren, and Biden in the caucus count. Chris Clackham has the details.
Dwelling but only briefly on the caucus chaos in Iowa.
I assume that one of these years that vote count will be completed.
If we want a government that puts our interests first.
The Democratic presidential candidates have already moved on to New Hampshire and its primary next Tuesday.
Every single solitary vote is going to matter in this primary.
Wooing young crowds who will cast their very first votes ever next week.
This is our moment, and this is the moment for you.
But the disaster in Des Moines, being blamed on a faulty app, has thrown doubt on the caucus count.
As chair of the party, I apologize deeply.
And doubt among national party officials on the caucus format itself.
This is likely and should be the end of the Iowa caucus.
Current DNC Chairman Tom Perez is promising the faulty app won't be used in caucuses and primaries going forward. But not before President Trump labeled the Democrats' debacle as an unmitigated disaster.
It might mean a defeat for them.
After the surprisingly strong showing in Iowa, Pete Buttigieg has bumped up in polls in New Hampshire, but still far behind Bernie Sanders from neighboring Vermont. Chris Clackham, NBC News.
Back at home, Texas Tech's TJ Holyfield scored 21 points and Kyler Edwards added 17 to help the Tech men beat Oklahoma 69-61 last night at the USA. It was a close game from start to finish. Tech trailed by 1 at the half, but outscored the Sooners 39-30 in the second. This is the midpoint of the 18-game Big 12 schedule for both teams. The Red Raiders' next game will be Saturday when they travel to Austin to take on the Longhorns. Tip-off is set for 3 o'clock. The Lady Raiders are in Manhattan, Kansas for tonight's matchup with the Kansas State Wildcats. Right now, the Lady Raiders are 14-5 on the season, 3-5 in Big 12 play. Tip-off for tonight's game, 6:30. Cancer treatment can become tough on the body, but a new study shows there's hope for those battling certain types of leukemia. Plus, a new study shows the dangers of lung cancer for a certain age group of women. And temperatures are beginning to drop tonight here on the South Plains. John will have details coming up.